dude.
Okay.
Well, this first thing is pretty spelled out. I mean, it says straight up that they're allowed to do that. So really, they just have to prove B and C to us. Okay.
Good evening. How are you doing tonight? I'd like to welcome you to the April 10th, 2024 Board of Zoning Appeals meeting tonight, and I'd like to call to order.
Mr. McCall?
Present.
Ms. McCoy?
Yes.
Mr. Harriman? Mr. Robbins?
Present.
Ms. DeDrell?
Present.
And then as for I assume we all got a chance to read the minutes from last meeting. Just ask for a motion to approve meeting minutes.
Motion to approve? I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Ms. McCoy?
Yes.
Mr. McCall?
Yes.
Mr. Robbins?
Yes.
Ms. DeDrell?
Yes.
And at this time, we'll go into the communication. Mr. Hutchinson?
Nothing new tonight, just welcome everybody. And as of right now, we don't have an application for next month, but we've got several inquiries already. So we do have 7 days until the deadline. So there is a chance that we'll have one next month. If we don't have any applications, we'll probably likely cancel next month, but I'll keep everyone up to date.
Okay, great, sounds good. With regards to public comment, are you two folks together?
So the public comment will be for anything not related to tonight's agenda item.
I didn't know if there was anything related not to tonight's agenda. Okay. Any old business? And then we're on to new business. Mr. Hutchinson, would you like to?
Yeah, so this is this will be the public hearings portion for conditional use for 114, gosh, West Main Street. Applicant is Race Robinson. If there's anybody here for the public who wants to speak for the public hearing portion.
Yes, that's.
I guess I'll just give the intent of what we're trying to do. So,
If you want to close the public hearing first before he does his presentation.
oh, I thought you just invited me.
No, that was just for the public hearing portion.
Having no
Go hang out though,
public-
Race, you'll go right back up.
So having no public present, we'll close
Yeah.
this portion of public comment.
Yeah. So now, Race.
Sorry about that.
Now we're ready.
Just kidding. So our purpose of the application is to request the conditional use for the third floor of the McCune building. So we've had a ton of interest in that third floor for like office space, but that would require us to really chop the space up a lot, which is probably not the best use for that space. We also had some thoughts about an event space up there as well, which would actually be pretty cool, but we already have like 17 of those in Plain City between your village-owned building behind the station where the project is happening with the train depot, and then the silo, and then the second floor of the clock. Like, we have enough of those types of spaces, so we have a great quality tenant that's going to bring, a higher dollar value per person to the building that will also help support some of the walking, shoppable businesses that are in the uptown, with clients from the Dublin, the Jerome, the Plain City area, and all of our new developments that are coming in. People that have a higher spend per visit, right? Which is meaningful to the Hammer and Stain place, all the hair salons, Front Porch Home, everything else in the buildings in and surrounding area as well, including Tim's Places with the granary and whatever Eric puts in his building across the street, right? So this doesn't serve food. It's literally like nuts and pretzels and then nice, kind of like the Roosevelt Room in Dublin, if anybody's been to the Roosevelt Room kind of vibe, for that third floor only. So she will be partnering with the restaurant at the Clock Tower with Tim and those kinds of things to cater in food if required from a guest. But other than that, it's more of like a relaxed, secluded environment, not like a big party source, basically, That
No
makes sense.
soliciting, similar to that?
Exactly like no soliciting, except for we probably won't have the awesome oatmeal cookies when you walk in.
They're pretty good.
So that's the intent, and that's why we signed that tenant to our lease instead of the other options that I mentioned before, because we wanted to preserve the building and then obviously wanted to augment what we already have from an event space perspective and bring foot traffic to the uptown. So, any other questions or questions?
What's the square footage of that floor?
That floor, including the hallway and the restrooms that are private to that space, is like 2,800, I believe, approximately.
Okay.
And just for those that are new in zoning, so you know exactly what the conditional use is. So every zoning district has permitted uses, and then they have conditional uses that are permitted with approval. So bars or drinking places, as they're called in the zoning, would be like for like a bar. That's different than a restaurant that serves alcohol is permitted, but strictly just a bar that doesn't serve necessarily food is what kicks it into this extra category. In this type of bar, like Mr. Robinson stated, is not necessarily a bar that's open to the public. Anybody can just walk in. It is a members style bar. So take that into account when you're looking in and you're thinking about what this could do and all the other benefits that he said as well there. But it is listed as a conditional use in a B3 district. So if approved tonight, it would be permitted.
Okay.
That's a good point. So she already has a first location. Her name's Gretchen that owns this entity. So she has a location up in Powell right now called 80 East, and it like Derek mentioned, it is
Same concept.
It is the exact same concept. So 80 East is a members only cocktail lounge and bourbon bar. They participate in Dora and a lot of the stuff that the Uptown Powell does. We're in a little bit more centralized location than their current location up in Powell. It's a little bit kind of down the road than their Uptown, but we would fully anticipate, because she is trekking in a liquor license she paid 25 grand to check this thing in,
Yeah.
right? So that we didn't add just a bunch of open craziness and chaos, which is why we pulled our other application. But we expected that would contribute to Dora to some capacity. And I know that we're trying to provide that type of environment to some degree for special events and things like that. So, but she's a well thought out, high class, like does things the right way type of individual, and that's what she's trying to bring here too. So she'll have reciprocity between both of the locations, which is pretty cool. So when people come down for OP soccer events or baseball games or whatever, we'll give them a reason to stay in the village, aside from Tim's Food and the restaurant and everything else, but just more options, right?
Gotcha.
So that's the intent. But thanks for calling that out.
Ms. Rob, what hours do you know, would it be open for? Do you have any idea on that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't operate it obviously, but I think her hours, unless it's a private event, like for a company or something like that would be in her current location, is like 4 to 11 approximately. But again, I don't operate it.
Yeah, I
so.
know you weren't operating, I just wasn't sure.
I think it's like Tuesday or Wednesday through Sunday from 4 to 11 approximately. But again, don't take that as gospel.
More out of curiosity,
Yeah,
just kind of trying to assume what hours, they're looking at.
Yeah, she's actually already been collaborating with a lot of the businesses to like sip and shop, or collaborating with Tim on coordinating food for events and like having access to parking and those kinds of things through the patio to get to the parking lot, and trying to make sure that all the patrons park in a meaningful spot and not just, we already have a convoluted Uptown, right? So, but we also want them to walk so they go into places, right? So.
In this type of establishment, if you check out online of the other Hilliard location, that you wouldn't even know that it's a bar or even a commercial business. It looks like a residential style house with a parking lot. But what's nice about these type of establishments is they don't have like all the neon signs and stuff like you would think when you think of a traditional bar. So this will be, I think working on a sign, some type of sign that will be there at some
we're
point.
working on that now.
But it'll be, other than that, really members will know where it's at, but it's not something that calls, hey, we got a bar over here, so.
Is it a bourbon-ass style, or is it gonna be all kinds of liquor?
Yeah, I mean, there'll be all kinds of liquor in there. Yeah, for sure. So that particular license, I mean, mixed drinks of all kinds for sure. Have you been specifically to like a no soliciting? or
Yes,
something?
I have,
Yeah, so
yeah.
exact same concept. I mean,
Okay.
that's probably the basis, but they all have wine and other
Yeah.
stuff
Yep.
too.
What's the capacity for the area?
Well, what, I don't know.
The
Jess.
capacity in that section of the building?
The occupancy load,
Mhm.
it's 29, and then we can file, yeah, so it's an intimate setting, so it's
Okay.
not like you'll have, crazy overload. It's 29, I think it's 29, it might be 39, but I'll err on the side of caution and say 29.
You know, I'm new to Plain City. I would love to, if anyone could arrange, I would love to go look at the building.
I'm going
I
right
didn't know
after
that.
this if you wanna go,
Yeah, I thought that, after this, you said?
Mhm.
I'll call you.
sure.
Does she
Anybody
have
can
an
come.
anticipated opening?
Yes, she would like to open July 1st, which is when the restaurant across the catty corner to that's tentatively opening, as well as the coffee shop and the provisions store as well. So they're all kind of cohesively collaborating and marketing, and she'll actually start her marketing campaign May 1st.
Mhm.
So she's working through those details and how to launch and to who and.
Because she has to
what's the
solicit
show.
memberships, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
So make sure I heard correctly, she does have her liquor license now, she's not
So-
pursuing it, but she has.
Yeah, so
Okay.
she trekked one and she just sent me a text because I said, "Are you going to this?" She said, "Am I supposed to?"
Oh, okay.
So she said the license is all buttoned up. I submitted the transfer of the license she purchased this morning. Now we wait 6 to 8 weeks until they actually finish the transfer and
Okay.
sign off.
Okay.
So at that point in time,
Mhm.
she'll be able to function. So tentatively right now, July 1st target. So plumbing was already done and water lines and stuff were run and finished up today. And now we have like equipment and flooring and all that kind of stuff's being delivered. So it's gonna go pretty quick.
And this is on the third floor.
It is on the third floor.
What's on the second?
The second is they're all professional services. So there's a photographer right above Gabe the barber.
Mhm.
There is an esthetician that does like Botox, facials, peels, that kind of stuff above Brittany, the barber's wife, on the back corner in a small spot. And we're talking to a 3D ultrasound clinic right now to go right above Front Porch Home, which will bring also, out of pocket cash, like higher end kind of clients to the uptown, or an insurance company. But we're farther along with the 3D ultrasound group, which I'm kind of more hopeful that that's the way that. But aside from Gabe the barber, everything in that building is woman owned, which is pretty cool. And actually, his business is in his wife's name, which is great. So it's kind of a cool thing.
Is there a
Actually,
separate-
we were all kind of the owners of that, and I were talking on like Friday, or maybe it was earlier this week. But they're like, "You should market that," and I was like, "All right." So, anyways, but it is kind of cool though, for real.
A separate entrance to the third floor?
Yeah, so that's in the former alley, the
Yeah.
abandoned alley where we put the elevator, and so we have wayfinding that's actually being delivered in the next week and a half. That'll be much like the station where people come into Brick House Blue and there's like wood signs on an old mirror or window. Same concept, and tenants to get in the building after hours because we have an automatic lock system that's being installed. So that building will open from 7 a.m. and close at 5 or 5:30 p.m. And then tenants and members of the bar will actually have a key fob that will work with access. It's literally this exact same fob. So it'll track who's going in the building, when they're leaving, those kinds of things as well, and kind of control the access from a safety perspective. But they'll all use the elevator. We've got the fire exit, emergency stairs, and whatnot as well.
Is that an invite-only membership?
No, you can apply.
Okay, because I know, and it was like no soliciting, you don't just join.
Yeah, you have to fill out like a crazy application. She has an application process, but I don't think it's as
It's
crazy as
strict,
that.
Yeah, they restricted. They were just 10, like each member can invite 10 people, that was your limit. And
Yeah,
they had to go through a
yeah.
process, it's not
Yeah,
just anyone could join.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking for like good people, not people that are gonna come in and get hammed.
No doubt.
And then trash the place and then go stumble down the street. They're looking for people that want to come in after a business meeting at Brick House Blue or something with a client, have a cocktail or two, and then be on their way kind of vibe, or have a private party or something of that nature for a couple hours and then leave, not dance on the bar and get wild.
Mhm.
So it's all about the branding.
So what's the alternate option for this if this wouldn't have passed?
Yeah, like I said, we could have turned it into offices, but we would build a heck of a lot of walls and done some unnatural things in that building. I mean, I know we're building, and you'll see it if you follow me over there. We're building a bar. We can always take the bar out. The plumbing and stuff like that can always be, capped or taken out, right? And whatever, but we be a lot more work if we're building a heck of a lot of walls and things, but this is gonna stay open, and I think Derek's been up there a time or two, but we've preserved the brick and the old wood beams in the ceiling and stuff like that, so we want people to experience that. So, back to your question, office space,
Sure.
event space, things like that, that just, I
Okay.
don't think are really
Not as
valuable.
exciting.
Well, that, or just,
Yeah.
they're not bringing a lot of, like, good foot traffic at a consistent clip to the village to support the other businesses too.
And as best as we're able, you're confident that there's enough parking for the limited capacity of the bar?
I mean, we can't control the parking, but we can't control the parking.
Right,
We
can't
don't-
control the parking, can control
Yeah.
the number of occupants.
Yeah, which is 29,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I mean, the public lot is right there and we're good to walk through the back patio of the neighbors. And we have some other projects too, where we are gonna consider contributing parking at some point in the next 24 to 36 months. Can't dive into those details now, but.
I would never ask you to.
I would.
But it is, but it is a major concern.
Yeah.
I get that. And actually, Eric and I have been going back and forth about some of the tenants in our building that are parking on the street and trying to get them to go behind the building and in the public lot and things like that too, to not take up tenancy or, people visiting the businesses in the town instead of just planting their car there all day.
Sure.
So, that's a work in progress. So,
Question kind of, and it's probably multi-part with stuff. So the conditional use, if it were approved, it would just be for this business, correct? So if it were to go out or they were to move a location, the conditional use, it wouldn't stay, or would it stay with the owner of that third floor space?
Conditional would stay with the third floor
It would
space.
stay with the third floor space. But the trekking of the alcohol permit, that just goes to the owner of the restaurant. So if they were to leave,
Correct.
then that would go away.
That's correct. We would still have control on whatever liquor license would
What would
potentially
go
go in,
back in.
if there was one to go in there, yeah.
yeah, so instead of bringing the 6 licenses that we originally thought was the best scenario, and then obviously pivoted from that. So the way that we talked about this with Gretchen was that if you trek that in, it's an asset, right? So for her. So if it doesn't work or she shuts down, she retains that asset and then she can resell it and get her money back from somebody else or what have you. So it's really no strain in it, you know, unless she sold it to a new tenant that would backfill her in that space. Then the license would disappear or whatever. And there's a bunch of rules with that, how long it could be dormant and all that kind of stuff.
So council just did the motion to permit the Trex application to go through. So it's still, even if this is approved tonight, it's still, the liquor license still has to be approved eventually through council, which would then kind of give them their blessing for it to move forward. I'd imagine they would be in some type of support of it. So, but that still does have to have, so worst case, you know, I guess it is a potential, say we approve this tonight and then the liquor license not get approved somehow or something happened there, then obviously it wouldn't happen. But just so you know, if you see that through council, if you see something come up there, that's the liquor license that's being tracked in that they have to approve.
So if we approve this tonight,
Mhm.
and then in 6 months, the business, something happens, she could sell the business license or the liquor license to someone else who could just turn it into like a bar,
It would still have, that liquor license would still have to be then accepted through the city.
accepted again.
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Anything
Any other
else?
questions? Does staff have anything to add with regards to the?
Yeah, I think we
application?
covered pretty much, yeah, I
Okay.
mean, the staff is in support of the project, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can move on to the findings of fact. So in order to approve the application for conditional use, we must find that the application meets each of the requirements of ordinance 1138.06 C3A through C. So we'll start with the ordinance 1138.06 C3A. The proposed use is a conditional use of the zoning district and the applicable development standards established in the zoning ordinance are met.
If Mr. Hutchinson has indicated in their.
I think the staff pretty much spelled it out right there, so that's,
Great.
so, I hear yes, and, does everyone agree?
Yes.
All right. Ordinance 1138.06C3B. The proposed development is in accord with appropriate plans for the area. Open that for
Absolutely
discussion.
it is for the, it's definitely, I think appropriate for the vision of the downtown area.
Uptown.
Uptown, sorry. Uptown, how about that?
I mean, I think the goal is to attract patrons to the uptown area, and this would help, in my opinion. Any other comments?
I think they've done a good job synergizing with the other business owners in the area, so that helps expand it to the general plan of the uptown district.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I think everything that's been happening, then this would be driving towards the development, redevelopment of the uptown area.
Anything to add?
I have nothing to add.
Okay. So what I heard is, yes.
Yes.
Ordinance 1138.06C3C. The proposed development will be in keeping with the existing land use character and physical development potential of the area. Discussion?
I think that's right. I'm particularly enthusiastic that they will all be planning an opening day of July 1st with everyone all at the same time. I think that's great. I think that really demonstrates a sense of community and a new initiative opening, so.
Especially to the existing land point, they seem to have taken additional care to like preserve like the specific space, like the discussion about not going for the offices for the reason of having to like physically alter the space. So being able to just leverage the existing space and turn it into a lounge, I like that.
I have a question. Do you have a vision where you'd be putting a sign to indicate that?
Yeah, that has to go through Derek, and we actually proactively collaborated a little bit. So we are tentatively planning on putting it on the far west side of the face of the building. That's gonna be our submission, but it'll house them at the top with the address, so it kind of blends in with the building as much as we can, but still giving them some level of like call out, because it's 114 West is the name of the business here. So keeping in touch with her brand of 80 East, 114 West, and synergizing that. So that's the address of the building, right?
And
So
aesthetically, it would look similar to the other.
so so it would be a protruding sign, not a flat sign, and it would probably go vertical. And we are working with the designer right now conceptually to even put the second floor businesses as a subset of that down the sign, that we can switch out if a tenant moves and kind of create standardized sizing and what have you. But yeah, so tentatively on that side, and we were even planning on, we advised the guy to put like an arrow that says like entrance down alley with an arrow kind of deal or what have you as well. So that's the purpose of keeping it on that like entrance side and not having it like on the main corner, but open to discussions through Derek, I guess.
Thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
I mean, other than probably the sign, I guess development of the area, I mean, most of the stuff is more on the interior side of the building, you know, the exterior is there, it's not like, like I said, only probably exterior stuff would just be the entrance sign or the sign for the businesses that are going in there, so I don't think it's really gonna be really changing the character, and I haven't been in the building, but I mean, as you said, trying to keep it open and as much of the existing stuff will look nice.
Yeah, I think that satisfies point C there, or C3, C3C even.
All right, if there's nothing else, that concludes the findings of facts portion of this.
So what we'll do is, like we have previously, we'll get those written up, take a couple minutes here, and then we'll do the review. And if you choose to approve those, then we'll move on and decide on the actual conditional use. you doing, typing them, are you typing them? Did you already type them up? A lot faster than Paul.
Don't tell them.
We use more than your 2 fingers, so that's good. And just for your guys' knowledge, on the back of your findings of facts, these will be ones that if this looks like a case was going the opposite way, we would also do these additional ones just to determine yes or no, more clear around. Tyler, you wasn't supposed to be here tonight. I marked your name off and everything on the thing. I didn't put your name
I have
tag
a
on.
story for today. It's been a long day.
So to your point, if we went through this on another case and we had 2 yeses, but the last one was no.
Yeah, I think you could.
Can we still come back around and then vote on pass or no pass?
Oh, yeah, I think if there was any doubts or questions in any of these first 3, I think we just automatically go into that second set of questions.
So you go in the second set, and I guess my point is, you're in the second set, and no issues with the first 2, but there was an issue with the last one. Does
Yeah.
that automatically
Well,
disapprove the application?
like, I would let you know, if it's not even a conditional use, they still have the right to come in. But if it's not listed in the conditional use,
I get that.
we're gonna automatically go to that one.
I guess I mean the last one, right?
Oh, on
We
the,
feel that the proposed development will have adverse effects, undesirable effects. Let's just say that happens. Does that automatically disapprove the application, or do we still vote?
no, I still think you vote.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
that was my
still,
question.
yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because I remember last time we talked, these don't all have to be yeses for approval.
Yeah, and, and like on a lot of the variances, when we had 7 and there's 9 questions, this one actually, conditional uses narrows it down to a few. So, I mean, I think if any of those we were unsure of, we would just, if we were gonna be on this page, start off on this page, you'll know that in the staff report that it's not a conditional use that,
I think we have that for Part B. Like, I'm not overly sold that the plans for the area need to include a 3rd bar. Like, we have Lee's in the granary right there.
Sure.
So, like, the general area. But like the building itself specifically, and whether it's allowed, like,
piece of
I
paper
think
underneath
there's
the
time
door,
to
be
do that.
quiet over there.
Right. I'm just one of
There's a lot of joy that they're having.
I know.
The finance and personnel meeting.
Yeah, it's too.
Also,
It said right in zoning
everybody's
code what the
minutes
conditional
are
use
last
is for
one.
that.
Hiring a person will come back.
If it's not listed, it's not a conditional use. I do this for a living.
Well,
It's-
the police chief.
If it's not in the conditional use, it's not a conditional
It's
use.
it's always
If it's not listed.
a good time when he's.
I think you would need to spend a variance to get that to be a conditional use.
Yeah, like, yeah, what would you do in that case? Like, if I want a
You gotta
business
go
that isn't
back.
conditionally approved?
All right,
It's
when
like
you guys-
putting,
are-
it's like
Are you gonna
putting
jump right
a
into December fiscal year?
psychiatric
Yeah.
Or,
hospital
July to
where a
June?
school is. If it's not on a conditional use,
July.
you can't build it.
Okay.
It's not a use for that area,
Oh,
because
yeah,
everything's
so
zoned.
Yeah, so you're in the middle of probably
But
developing your new
if, let's
budget,
say,
next year's budget.
Yep, getting close.
say retail is conditional use, and this is the owner of the Hustler, right? The Hustler magazine, he had shops. He built one in Cincinnati, I forget his name.
Okay.
And he wanted to build it on that corner. That's a conditional
Is
use.
there a regular finance
I
report
don't
that
think it
comes
goes
out
to
or
the
just?
character. And he'd be running out of town probably.
We don't have a
They
regular,
build those.
we don't have a regular finance report that
It's
comes
like,
out.
it's probably goes to the Lions Den. I don't, I've never been, that's just an example.
But generally, it's pretty inflexible, like whether you are
Okay.
It's
either.
either a conditional use or it's not.
So they've, I guess in the view of the village, we fought
It's
through
usually just
everything
my
we
primary
are
way to
okay with
engage with
having conditionally.
municipalities.
Well, yeah, when they wrote the zoning code, so zoning B1 use is business, but there's these conditional uses, they can be in that same area, but in order for that to happen, they go through BZA.
Everything
And
Get
if you,
approval from us.
funny.
and if you can, then it wasn't meant to be. PC doesn't want it. Okay.
So that does happen. Yeah.
Good. All right, we have them up here on the screen behind you here.
Yeah.
So you can get around not bigger conditional use, it just takes time. A lot of time. Do you get to be in attendance, Tyler? You should.
There you go.
Dock his pay, he showed up late.
Put in quotation marks, wasn't supposed to be here.
So I'm trying to think of a better way to phrase that sentence. Yeah, hey, can you go back up real quick at the first?
Yeah.
Good catch there. So this is the owner,
Transfer of the liquor license.
it's not coming from Palace,
Yeah.
it's coming from an outside entity from wherever she was able to.
I wondered about that, cause I'm like, they're close to power location?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I don't know what municipality or where it's coming
Yep.
from specifically within Ohio, but it came from like the master board.
Sure.
So.
Thanks, good catch.
Spell check does not like your last name.
I know, it never does.
Anywhere in here, do we note the comment about them trying to like synergize on that July 1st start date with the restaurant and cafe and whatever that third business was? That was,
It's possible down in the deliberation, it's noted.
okay.
didn't read what Jack was asking about. It would probably be a nice touch to add it, because that's important. The synergy, they're gonna try to open the three, it's what are the three locations, a coffee
Restaurant,
shop and a
cafe,
restaurant?
something.
Yes, the New Grounds Coffee and the old clock tower where Gate Department used to be.
Yep,
And then Provisions, which is the store where you can buy, you know, liquor and like mixers and all that kind of stuff, where everyone's used to be on the back side of the clock tower.
Okay.
Like t-shirts and cutting board, like all that stuff, kitschy stuff. And then the restaurant itself, that's one parcel with 3 different businesses in it.
Mhm.
So it'll be in lockstep with them.
Yeah.
And I say that barring any setbacks.
Well, understood. That's the intent, though, I mean, setbacks happen.
And actually, to your point, both of your points, the restaurant and Scott Distilleries have been collaborating with Tim on Rock the Clock and finding ways to collaborate for that event and do some unique stuff and sponsor that to some degree as well. So that was their work with that.
I would just include that under like the C3B findings. I think that helps to support the argument that it's in accordance with the general interests of that area of town. You have all the different businesses collaborating on this and being in favor of this. Unrelated, but when are they putting the sidewalk back in front of the clock tower?
We're gonna wait a couple of years.
That's what I figured.
That phase of the streets gonna take 12 months. It's a lot, it's what I happen.
Okay. Couple months, couple years, somewhere in there.
All right, I think, has everyone had a chance to
Yes.
review those? Great. Okay. What do we do?
Penmanship has
Request a
moved.
motion to approve the findings of facts first.
So, I'd like to request a motion to approve the findings of facts.
I'll motion.
Do I have a
Second.
Yes, second.
Ms. DeGirolamo,
Yes.
Ms. McCoy,
Yes.
Mr. McCullough,
Yes.
Mr. Robbins,
Yes.
Mr. Harriman.
Yes.
Then you can make a motion to approve the conditional use.
Okay. And, would like a motion to approve conditional use.
So moved.
Second. Can I second 2 things in a row? Okay.
Mr. Robbins,
Yes.
Mr. McCullough,
Yes.
Mr. Harriman,
Yes.
Ms. DeGirolamo,
Yes.
Ms. McCoy.
Yes.
Great.
Good.
Team.
You want to make a motion to adjourn?
If there's no discussion items,
No.
okay, then, want a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to
A second?
Second.